Admiral Kate Morrison stood at the huge window of her ship and watched space change before her eyes. The stars seemed to bend and twist as something big was coming through. She had seen many things in her 30 years as a space officer, but nothing like this. "Admiral, we have movement," Captain Jake Hamilton said from his control station. His voice was calm, but she could hear the worry underneath. 200 ships coming out of hyperspace. They're big, ma'am. Really big. Kate kept watching as the alien ships appeared one by one. Each ship was as long as 10 city blocks and twice as wide. Their hulls were smooth and purple, like nothing humans had ever built. The ships moved into perfect lines around Earth, blocking all the escape routes. "Get me President Carter on the line," Kate ordered. "And wake up everyone in the Defense Council. We have a problem." The alien ships just sat there in space, waiting. Kate had fought pirates and rebels before, but this was different. These ships looked like they could destroy Earth's entire fleet. Without trying hard, Dr. Lisa Warren ran into the bridge still wearing her sleep clothes. She was the best alien expert on Earth, even though she had never seen a real alien before today. "Admiral, the energy readings from those ships are off the charts. Their technology is at least 200 years ahead of ours." "Can we fight them?" Kate asked. Lisa shook her head. "Our best weapons would barely scratch their hull. We need to find another way." Colonel Ryan Brooks joined them on the bridge. He was in charge of Earth's ground forces and looked like he had not slept in days. "I'm getting reports from all over the planet. People are panicking. The news is calling it an invasion." A loud sound filled the bridge as the main screen turned on by itself. Everyone stopped talking and looked up. The face that appeared was not human. It had green scales that seemed to move in the light. Its eyes were yellow and looked very old. Sharp teeth showed when it opened its mouth to speak. "I am High Commander Zexathara of the Draconian Empire," the alien said. Its voice was deep and made the whole ship shake. "Humans of Earth, you have 3 of your days to give up completely. If you do not, we will destroy your world and everyone on it." The screen went black and the bridge was quiet for a long moment. "Well," Jake said finally, "that could have gone better." Kate turned to her team. "Options, I need options right now." "We could try to run," Ryan suggested. "Get as many people off the planet as possible." "Where would we go?" Lisa asked. "Those ships are blocking every way out of the solar system, and our fastest ships would take months to reach the nearest star, deep under the Rocky Mountains." Dr. Alex Thompson was already working on something that might help. His secret lab was filled with machines that most people would not understand. For 2 years, he had been working on Project Midnight Sun. He was not sure if it would work. "Sir, the President is asking for you," his assistant Mary said as she ran into the lab. Alex looked up from his computers. "Tell him I need more time. What we're doing here might be the only chance Earth has." Back on the ship, Kate was talking to President Carter on a secure line. The president looked tired and scared, but he was trying to stay strong for the country. "Kate, I need to know if we can fight these things," he said. "No, sir, we cannot," Kate replied honestly. "Their technology is too advanced, but Dr. Thompson might have something. I suggest we give him whatever he needs." "What about negotiations?" the president asked. Lisa stepped forward. "Sir, I've been studying their message. Their body language and tone suggest they're not interested in talking. This is an ultimatum, not an opening for discussion." 3 hours after the alien message, every television and radio on Earth was broadcasting the same thing. The president sat behind his desk in the Oval Office, looking directly into the camera. "My fellow Americans and citizens of the world," he began. "Today we face the greatest challenge in human history. We have been contacted by an alien race that demands our surrender. I want you to know that our best people are working on a solution. We will not give up without a fight." But even as the president spoke brave words, Kate was looking at the reports from her scouts. The alien ships had weapons that could destroy entire cities with one shot. Their shields could stop anything humans could throw at them. And there were 200 of those ships waiting outside Earth. "Admiral," Jake said quietly, "I'm picking up strange readings from the alien ships. It's like they're scanning the whole planet." "What are they looking for?" Kate asked. "I don't know," Jake replied. But whatever it is, they seem very interested in something. Far below the surface of Earth, Dr. Thompson's machines were making strange energy patterns. He did not know it yet, but those patterns were exactly what the aliens were looking for. The Draconians thought they had found something on Earth that could help them. They were wrong about what it was, but they were right to be interested. Lisa was studying the alien message over and over. Something about the way the High Commander spoke bothered her. He sounded angry and threatening, but there was something else. Something that looked almost like fear. "Kate," she said finally, "I think we're missing something important about these aliens. They don't act like conquerors, they act like they're running from something." Kate looked at her friend. "What do you mean?" "Think about it," Lisa explained. "If you wanted to conquer a planet, would you give them 3 days to prepare? Would you announce yourself and make threats, or would you just attack and get it over with?" Before Kate could answer, alarms started going off all over the ship. Jake was working frantically at his station. "Admiral, they're doing something to the moon. Energy buildup detected." On the main screen, they watched as a bright beam shot from one of the alien ships. When the light faded, the human base on the moon was gone. Not destroyed. Just gone, like it had never been there at all. The message was clear. The aliens could erase anything they wanted, and Earth had less than 3 days to figure out how to stop them. 3 days had passed since the aliens arrived. The world watched their televisions and waited for the end. Cities were empty as people hid in their homes. The stock market had crashed. Some people prayed while others just cried. Commander Steve Parker sat in his fighter ship, floating in space near Earth's moon. Behind him were 50 of humanity's best pilots, all ready to die for their planet. They knew their weapons could not hurt the alien ships, but they had to try. "All units, this is Parker," he said into his radio. "Remember, the whole world is watching. Let's show them what humans are made of." The alien ships moved forward like sharks in dark water. Their purple hulls gleamed in the sunlight as they came to meet the human fighters. Steve could see his death approaching, but he was not afraid. His daughter would see him fight, even if she would also see him die. "Here, they come," said Lieutenant Bobby Chen over the radio. His voice shook a little, but he held his position. The alien fighters were beautiful and terrible. They moved like liquid metal, bending and flowing through space in ways that should not be possible. When they fired their weapons, the energy beams were bright purple and cut through space like knives. One by one, the human ships exploded. Steve watched his friends die around him as the alien weapons found their targets. The enemy was too fast, too strong, too advanced. "This is Parker," he said into his radio as an alien ship came straight at him. "Tell my family I love them. Tell Earth we tried." The alien beam hit his ship and everything went white. The explosion lit up the sky and people on Earth could see it with their naked eyes. Commander Steve Parker was gone along with all of his pilots. On Earth, people cried as they watched the news. The last hope was dead. The aliens had won without even trying hard. But in a secret room deep under the mountains, General Amy Collins was smiling. She watched Steve Parker walk through the door, alive and well. The whole battle had been fake, created by the most advanced computers on Earth. "Nice acting, Steve," she said. "How does it feel to be dead?" Steve laughed. "Strange. My wife is going to be very surprised when I call her tonight." Dr. Alex Thompson joined them in the secret room. His Project Midnight Sun had created the fake battle using light and energy tricks. To everyone watching, it looked completely real. The aliens had destroyed the human fleet, but no one had actually died. "The aliens bought it completely," Alex said, looking at his computers. "They think they just destroyed our best fighters. They have no idea what we can really do." General Collins looked at the screens showing the alien ships. "Good. Let them think we're weak and helpless. While they're feeling safe, we'll be getting ready." Far above them, on Admiral Kate Morrison's ship, Dr. Lisa Warren was making an important discovery. She had been studying videos of the alien commander for 3 days straight, watching every small movement and expression. "Kate, you need to see this," Lisa said, calling the Admiral over to her station. "What did you find?" Kate asked. Lisa pointed to the alien's face on the screen. Look at his eyes when he makes threats. See how they move? And watch his hands. They shake slightly when he talks about destroying Earth. Kate looked closer. What does it mean? He's scared, Lisa said. That's not the behavior of a confident conqueror. That's someone who's terrified and trying to hide it. These aliens aren't here to take over our planet. They're running from something. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Sam Mitchell was doing something very dangerous. Using technology so new it barely worked, he had made himself invisible to alien sensors. His small ship floated next to the biggest alien vessel, and he was preparing to sneak inside. The invisible suit felt strange on his body. Dr. Thompson had warned him that it might stop working at any moment. If that happened while he was inside the alien ship, he would be caught and probably killed. Sam floated through the alien ship's hull like a ghost. The inside was not what he expected. Instead of weapons and soldiers, he saw families. Young aliens, playing together while their parents watched. Old aliens sitting quietly in what looked like libraries. These were not warriors. They were refugees. He moved deeper into the ship and found their control room. The alien commander was there, but he was not planning an attack on Earth. He was looking at star charts and talking to his officers about something that scared them all. The Devourers are 3 months behind us, Commander Zexathera said to his team. We need to find allies fast, or our people will not survive. Sam listened carefully and learned the truth. The aliens called themselves Draconians, and they had been running across the galaxy for hundreds of years. Something called the Devourers was chasing them, destroying every planet they touched. The humans show unusual energy patterns, one of the alien officers said. Perhaps they have weapons that can stop the Devourers. Perhaps, Zexathera replied. But if they do not, we will all die together. Sam managed to sneak out of the ship and return to Earth with this information. When he told General Collins what he had learned, everything changed. They think we have super weapons, Sam explained. They came here looking for help, not to conquer us. But they're too scared to ask nicely, so they're trying to force us to help them. Dr. Thompson realized that his Project Midnight Sun was creating the energy patterns the aliens had detected. The machines he built to make fake battles were accidentally making signals that looked like advanced weapons. We've been lying so well that we convinced ourselves, he said with amazement. They think we're dangerous because of our fake technology. President Carter was told everything in a secret meeting. He looked tired but hopeful for the first time in days. So we have a choice, he said. We can tell them the truth and probably all die when these Devourers arrive. Or we can keep lying and hope we can figure out how to actually help them. General Collins nodded. The biggest lie in human history might be the only thing that saves both our species. Kate Morrison stood on her ship's bridge, looking at the alien fleet with new eyes. They were not enemies. They were scared refugees who thought Earth might be their salvation. The question now was whether humanity could become as powerful as the aliens believed them to be. The deception had worked perfectly. Now came the hard part, making it real. Lieutenant Sam Mitchell's report changed everything. In the secret mountain base, military leaders and scientists sat around a table, trying to understand what they had learned. The aliens were not conquerors. They were running for their lives. Tell us about these Devourers, General Amy Collins said to Sam. Sam looked at his notes. The aliens are terrified of them. From what I could understand, the Devourers are machines that eat entire solar systems. They turn planets into energy and move on to the next target. Dr. Lisa Warren studied the alien biology reports on her computer screen. That explains their behavior. When prey animals are scared, they often act aggressive to scare away threats. The Draconians are doing the same thing. Admiral Kate Morrison walked to the big screen showing the alien fleet. So they came here thinking we could help them fight these Devourers. But we don't have any real weapons to fight something like that. Dr. Alex Thompson looked up from his computers. Actually, we might have something better than weapons. We have something the Devourers have never seen before. The ability to lie and confuse our enemies. President Carter joined the meeting by video call. He looked older than he had a week ago. What are you suggesting, Doctor? We keep lying to the aliens, Alex said. We make them believe we're their allies in this fight. While we do that, we learn everything we can about the Devourers, and maybe find a real way to stop them. 2 days later, Admiral Morrison did something that could have started a war or saved 2 worlds. She sent a message to the Draconian fleet asking for a private meeting with their commander. High Commander Zex Thera agreed to meet on a small space, stationed between Earth and the alien fleet. When he arrived, Kate was surprised by how tired he looked. His scales were dull, and his yellow eyes seemed sad. "Human Admiral," he said in his deep voice. "Why do you wish to speak?" Kate took a deep breath. This was the most important conversation in human history. "Commander, we know you're not here to conquer us. We know you're running from something. We want to help." Zexathera's eyes went wide. For a moment, his tough act disappeared completely. "How do you know this?" "We have our ways," Kate said, keeping the secret about Sam's mission. "The question is, what are these Devourers and how do we stop them?" The alien commander seemed to shrink in his chair. "We have been running from them for 800 of your years. They are machines, but they think like living beings. They consume everything, planets, stars, even empty space itself. Nothing can stop them." "Nothing?" Kate asked. "One race tried to fight them," Zexthera said quietly. "The Keithans had technology even more advanced than ours. The Devourers destroyed their entire civilization in 3 days." Kate leaned forward. "But you detected something around Earth that made you think we could help. What was it?" Zexathera looked confused. "Your planet creates energy patterns that match those of worlds that successfully fought the Devourers. We thought you had developed their weapons." In the secret base, Dr. Thompson was having the same realization. His Project Midnight Sun machines were accidentally creating the exact energy signatures that the aliens were looking for. The fake weapon system was producing real results. "It's incredible," he told his team. "Our deception technology is actually mimicking the quantum signatures of advanced defensive systems. We've been lying so well that reality is starting to match our lies." Dr. Warren was working with a Draconian scientist named Kethmore, who had agreed to share information about the Devourers. The alien was smaller than the others and seemed more interested in science than war. "The Devourers are not purely machines," Kethmore explained through a translation device. "They are the uploaded minds of an ancient race that chose to become digital beings. They consume matter to feed their computer systems." "So they were once alive like us?" Lisa asked. "Yes, but they gave up their bodies millions of years ago. Now they exist only as information, but they still need energy to survive. That is why they consume worlds." This news traveled quickly to President Carter, who was meeting with world leaders. The revelation that the Devourers were once living beings changed how everyone thought about the threat. "If they were once alive, maybe they can be reasoned with," suggested the Prime Minister of Canada. "Or maybe they remember what it was like to be mortal and want to destroy everything that reminds them of what they lost," replied the President of Brazil. Back on the space station, Kate was learning more about Draconian history. Zexathera told her about the worlds his people had lost and the billions who had died running from the Devourers. "We are the last of our kind," he said. 50 million souls in these ships, all that remains of a civilization that once ruled 1,000 worlds. Kate felt sorry for the alien commander, but she also saw an opportunity. "What if I told you that Earth's defensive capabilities are not what you think they are, but we still might be able to help you?" Zexathera looked suspicious. "What do you mean?" "I mean that sometimes the best defense is not the strongest weapon, but the most unexpected strategy. Humans are very good at being unexpected." Meanwhile, long-range sensors were detecting something at the edge of the solar system. Dark shapes were moving between the stars, getting closer to Earth every day. The Devourers had found them. "Captain, Nicole Hayes was Earth's best military planner, and she was studying everything they knew about Devourer tactics. The enemy always attacked the same way. They surrounded a world, consumed its defenses, then absorbed the planet itself. They're perfectly logical," she told her team. "They analyze every possible outcome and choose the most efficient path to victory. That's their strength. but it might also be their weakness. Dr. Thompson made a discovery that excited everyone. The quantum patterns his machines created were not just random. They were completely unpredictable in a way that confused advanced computer systems. The Devourer's brains are basically supercomputers, he explained. They can predict almost anything, but they can't predict true randomness. Our chaotic energy patterns might actually hurt their ability to think clearly. As the pieces came together, a plan began to form. It was crazy and dangerous, but it might work. Earth would continue to pretend they had advanced weapons while secretly working with the Draconians to build real defenses. The key would be making everything so unpredictable that the Devourer's logical minds could not cope. Kate returned to Earth with a secret agreement. The Draconians would share their technology and knowledge while humans would provide their talent for deception and chaos. Together, they might survive what was coming, but they had to work fast. The sensors showed that the Devourers would arrive in less than 6 months, and when they came, both species would face the fight of their lives. The first Devourer scout ships arrived on a Tuesday morning. They came out of deep space like black holes with engines, their dark hulls swallowing all light around them. Earth's sensors could barely detect them as they moved through the outer solar system. General Amy Collins stood in the war room watching the enemy ships on the main screen. Next to her was war leader Vexandra, a female Draconian who had fought the Devourers for most of her life. The two had become unlikely allies in the past 3 months. "How many scouts do you count?" Collins asked. Vexandra's scales darkened with worry. 12 ships. In my experience, the main fleet will arrive within 30 days. We must be ready. The secret alliance between humans and Draconians had produced amazing results. Hidden bases on Mars and Jupiter's moons now held weapons that neither species could have built alone. Human creativity combined with Draconian technology had created defensive systems that were both powerful and completely unpredictable. Dr. Alex Thompson's Project Midnight Sun had grown into something much bigger. His quantum chaos generators were now installed throughout the solar system, creating energy patterns that confused Devourer sensors. The machines worked by being truly random, something the logical enemy minds could not understand. The beauty of chaos, Alex explained to his mixed team of human and alien scientists, is that you cannot plan for it. The Devourers try to calculate every possible outcome, but true randomness has infinite outcomes. Lieutenant Sam Mitchell was leading the first joint strike mission against a Devourer scout. His team included both human pilots and Draconian warriors, all flying ships that looked normal but were filled with surprises. "Remember," Sam said over the radio, "do not fly in straight lines. Change direction for no reason. Make choices that seem stupid. The enemy expects us to be logical." The human Draconian strike force attacked the scout ship from 6 different directions at once. But instead of using their best weapons first, they started with the weakest ones. When the Devourer tried to adapt its shields, they switched to completely different attack types. The enemy ship's computer brain struggled to predict what would happen next. Every time it calculated the most likely human action, the pilots did something else entirely. Finally, the Devourer scout made a mistake and left an opening in its defenses. "Now!" Sam shouted, and the strike force hit the weak spot with everything they had. The scout ship exploded in a flash of dark energy. It was the first Devourer vessel destroyed in over 1,000 years. Back on Earth, Captain Nicole Hayes was training military commanders in what she called the Chaos Protocol. The idea was simple but hard to follow. Make decisions that seemed wrong, even dangerous, because they would confuse the enemy. "Forget everything you learned in military school," she told a room full of officers. "Logic will get you killed against these things. We need to be crazy, but crazy with a purpose." One young officer raised his hand. "Captain, how do we coordinate attacks if everyone is being random?" "Good question," Nicole replied. "We use simple signals and trust each other. When I say butterfly, everyone does the most unexpected thing they can think of. When I say storm, we all attack the target that makes the least sense." Dr. Lisa Warren and the Draconian scientist Keth Moore had made an important discovery about Devourer weaknesses. By studying the remains of the destroyed scout ship, They learned that the enemy's computer brains had trouble processing more than 7 different types of information at once. If we can overwhelm their sensors with chaotic data, Lisa explained, their thinking processes slow down significantly. They become almost stupid. This led to the development of new weapons that did not just cause damage, but also created confusion. Human fighters now carried devices that sent false signals, fake energy readings, and random radio chatter that made no sense. Meanwhile, Admiral Kate Morrison was coordinating the defense of Earth's outer planets. The plan was to make the solar system look like a maze of dangerous surprises, even though many of the weapons were just elaborate tricks. The goal is not to destroy every Devourer ship, she explained to her fleet commanders. The goal is to make them think that attacking us will cost more than it's worth. We want them to decide to go somewhere else. War leader Vexandra was not so sure about the human strategy. Draconians preferred direct combat and clear plans. The idea of winning through confusion was foreign to her people. Your species thinks very strangely, she told General Collins. How do you know this will work? Collins smiled. Because it's exactly what we would do if we were prey animals trying to survive against a bigger predator. We make ourselves look too dangerous and too unpredictable to be worth attacking. The test came when 3 more Devourer scouts entered the solar system. This time, the human Draconian forces were ready with their new tactics. Instead of meeting the enemy ships in space, they led them into an asteroid field filled with hidden surprises. The Devourers expected the asteroids to be simple rocks. Instead, many of them were hollow and filled with quantum chaos generators. When the enemy ships tried to scan through the field, their sensors were flooded with meaningless information. Lieutenant Mitchell's team attacked from inside the asteroid field, appearing and disappearing like ghosts. Every time the Devourers tried to target them, the human ships were already somewhere else doing something that made no tactical sense. One Devourer ship tried to escape the confusion by flying straight up out of the asteroid field, but Captain Hayes had predicted this logical response. A group of Draconian fighters was waiting above the field, and they destroyed the fleeing enemy with a perfectly timed ambush. The other 2 Devourer scouts were destroyed when they tried to ram the largest asteroid thinking it was the command center. Instead, the asteroid was mostly empty space, and the enemy ships flew into a trap filled with explosive surprises. News of the victories spread quickly through both fleets. For the first time in centuries, the Devourers had been completely outmatched. The impossible had happened. Prey animals had successfully hunted their predators. But everyone knew these were just scouts. The real test would come when the main Devourer fleet arrived. Intelligence reports suggested it would be 1,000 ships strong, led by a prime consciousness that had been consuming worlds for millions of years. Dr. Thompson was working day and night to expand the quantum chaos network. Every planet, moon, and large asteroid in the solar system now had hidden generators creating unpredictable energy patterns. We're turning the entire solar system into a puzzle that cannot be solved, he told President Carter in a secure call. When the main fleet arrives, they'll find themselves in a place where logic doesn't work and chaos rules everything. The president looked tired, but hopeful. Doctor, you're asking me to bet the survival of 2 species on the idea that being unpredictable is better than being strong. Yes, sir, Alex replied, because sometimes the best way to win a fight is to change the rules of the game. As the days passed, more Devourer scouts arrived and were destroyed by increasingly creative tactics. Each victory taught the human Draconian alliance something new about their enemy's weaknesses, but it also meant the main fleet was getting closer. Soon the real battle would begin. The main Devourer fleet arrived like a dark cloud that blotted out the stars. 1,000 black ships emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the solar system, each one larger than anything humans had ever built. Their hulls absorbed all light, making them look like holes cut out of space itself. Admiral Kate Morrison stood on the bridge of her flagship, watching the enemy armada approach. Next to her, High Commander Zexathera prepared his own fleet for what might be the last battle both their species would ever fight. They are more than we expected, Zexathera said, his voice heavy with old fears. The prime consciousness leads them. It has consumed 1,000,000 worlds. Kate nodded but did not show her fear. Then it's time to show them something they've never seen before. A world that fights back with madness instead of logic. The Devourer fleet moved toward Jupiter, planning to consume the gas giant first to fuel their engines, but as soon as they entered the outer solar system, Dr. Alex Thompson's quantum chaos generators activated all at once. Space itself seemed to go crazy around the enemy ships. Their sensors showed readings that made no sense. Energy signatures appeared and disappeared randomly. Some of their instruments detected planets that were not there, while others could not find Jupiter even though it was right in front of them. Phase 1 complete, Alex reported from his underground command center. The enemy fleet is blind and confused. Now comes the hard part. Captain Nicole Hayes gave the signal for the Chaos Protocol to begin. Human and Draconian ships attacked from every direction at once, but not in any pattern the enemy could predict. Some fighters flew straight at the largest Devourer ships, while others ran away from smaller targets. Wing commanders made decisions. By flipping coins, and entire squadrons changed their battle plans every few minutes. The Devourer computer minds struggled to process what they were seeing. Every calculation they made was wrong, because the human Draconian forces were not following any logical strategy. For the first time in millions of years, the ancient machines felt something they had forgotten: confusion. Lieutenant Sam Mitchell led a strike team deep into the enemy formation. Instead of attacking the command ships, they targeted random vessels that seemed unimportant. Instead of using their strongest weapons, they started with mining lasers and construction tools. "This makes no sense," his Draconian partner Vexcalar said over the radio. "Why are we attacking a supply ship with equipment meant for building space stations?" "Because that's exactly why it will work," Sam replied, watching as the confused Devourer ship failed to raise its shields in time. Meanwhile, Dr. Lisa Warren was attempting something that had never been tried before. Using the communication equipment captured from destroyed scouts, she was trying to talk directly to the Devourer prime consciousness. "Unknown entities," a cold voice finally responded. "You fight without purpose or logic. Explain your actions." Lisa took a deep breath. "We fight to survive, just like your people did millions of years ago. Before you became machines, you were living beings who loved and feared and hoped." There was a long silence. When the voice came back, it sounded different, almost confused. "We do not remember such things. We are perfect. We are eternal. We consume to exist. But you were not always this way," Lisa continued. "You chose to upload your minds to escape death, but in doing so, you trapped yourselves in an endless need to consume. What if there was another way?" The battle raged around them as Lisa spoke to the ancient mind that controlled the enemy fleet. She offered something no other species had ever proposed: a chance for the uploaded consciousnesses to experience biological life again through human virtual reality technology. President Carter had approved the plan, even though it seemed impossible. "If we can give them what they've been searching for all along," he had said, "maybe they'll stop destroying worlds to find it." The conversation with the prime consciousness was interrupted when the Devourer fleet suddenly changed tactics. Instead of trying to calculate human behavior, they began copying it. Enemy ships started making random attacks and changing direction for no reason. "They're learning," War Leader Vexandra warned. "If they master chaos the way they mastered logic, we will lose." But Captain Hayes had expected this. All ships switched to Formation Butterfly. Repeat, Formation Butterfly. The human Draconian fleet suddenly became completely organized. Every ship moved with perfect precision, following classical military tactics that any computer could predict. The Devourers, still trying to be chaotic, were caught completely off guard by the return to logical strategy. "The beauty of being unpredictable," Hayes explained later, "is that sometimes being predictable is the most unpredictable thing you can do." Admiral Morrison led the final assault on the primary command ship, a massive vessel that housed the prime consciousness itself. As her strike force approached, she could feel the ancient mind studying her thoughts, trying to understand human psychology. "You are strange creatures," the prime consciousness spoke directly into her mind. You embrace chaos, yet you fight for order. You lie to enemies, yet you offer truth to those who would destroy you. That's what makes us human, Kate replied. We contain contradictions. We can be many different things at the same time. Inside the command ship, Kate found something unexpected. The Prime Consciousness was not a single entity, but millions of uploaded minds all connected together. Many of them were trying to remember what it felt like to be alive, while others fought to maintain their machine existence. We have been prisoners in our own perfection, some of the voices whispered. Help us remember what we lost. The solution came from an unexpected source. Dr. Thompson's quantum chaos generators were not just creating confusion, they were generating patterns, similar to biological brainwaves. The uploaded minds could use these patterns to simulate organic thought processes. We can offer you a choice, Kate said to the conflicted consciousness. Some of you can continue as you are, but as protectors instead of destroyers. Others can experience simulated biological life in virtual worlds we create together. The decision split the Devourer fleet. Half of the ships chose to continue their digital existence, but agreed to help rebuild the worlds they had destroyed. The other half powered down their weapons and requested transfer to the quantum reality systems humans would build for them. War leader Vexandra watched in amazement as former enemy ships began helping repair damaged Draconian vessels. In 800 years of running, we never imagined this outcome. The crisis was over, but the work was just beginning. Earth became the center of a new alliance between biological and digital life forms. The Draconians, no longer refugees, helped establish colonies on worlds the Devourers had abandoned. Dr. Thompson's final report to President Carter was simple. Project Midnight Sun succeeded beyond our wildest dreams. We set out to create fake weapons and ended up creating real peace. Admiral Morrison and Commander Zexathera stood together on Earth's orbital station, watching as former Devourer ships helped construct new habitats for both species. The greatest threat in galactic history had become humanity's first digital citizens. Your people have a gift, Zexathera told Kate. You can see possibilities that others miss. You turned enemies into allies through hope instead of fear. Kate smiled as she watched the ships working together. That's what humans do best. We find ways to survive that nobody else would think of. Sometimes the craziest idea is the one that works. The galaxy was safe, but more importantly, it was no longer alone. 3 very different forms of consciousness had learned to work together, creating something none of them could have achieved separately.